It is my pleasure to introduce the next presenter for the final Bear to Make a Difference Award. She's someone I've not known terribly long, but I'm sure that we would have a deep friendship given the time. Please help me welcome Kelly Rippon.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Shepard. Judy. A parent's reputation is not determined by the dreams they hope for their children. It's revealed by their response to the interruption to those dreams. Judy and Dennis are a testament to the enormous impact mothers and fathers can make by ascribing to the philosophy, once a parent, forever a parent for all children. Thank you. You have mastered the art of transforming loss into love. Thank you for all you have done and all that you continue to do in making the world a better place. I also want to express my personal gratitude for including me tonight. And tonight marking the 20 years of the Foundation's mission in erasing hate by replacing it with understanding, compassion, and acceptance. Tonight I was asked to say a few words, though, as a subject matter expert. Tonight's subject will be America's Sweetheart. Adam Rippon. Adam is my oldest child. He's the oldest of 6. Yes, I have 6 children. And yes, they're all with the same man. I don't know why people think that that's unusual. But after Adam was born, many of my friends would complain about their children. They complained that they were climbing out of their high chairs, jumping out of their cribs, diving out of their strollers. And I thought to myself, what kind of incompetency is that? I mean, my baby sleeps all night. He loves his high chair. In fact, he used to drag it into the family room, right, to have your meals. And he's so patient. These mothers mustn't know what they're doing. Then I had my second child. When Adam was about 2 and a half, and his brother was about 9 months, they were buckled in their car seats, and we were driving to the doctor's. We were singing one of Adam's favorite songs, "This is the Song That Never Ends" by Sherry Lewis. Please don't start it because it doesn't really end. We were having so much fun, singing and laughing. And then I saw something in the periphery. I looked down, and on my right side, in that space between the seats of a minivan, I saw something odd. For a split second, I thought to myself, that cute baby looks just like my baby. Oh my God, it was my baby. So that was the reign. That was the end of the reign of me being the ultimate mother. I didn't have magic power. Adam was just an incredibly agreeable child. And thank goodness, because I had to reflect on those agreeable years when he became a teenager. The rite of passage for teens is generally getting their driver's license. Has anyone here ever taught someone how to drive? Yes. Do you have a Charlie horse in your right leg from pushing the invisible brake pedal? Yes. So you know what I did. But the experience of driver's training prepared both of us for that next transition in life. I had to learn to offer directions without having control of those directions. He had to learn when to go forward, when to turn right and left, when to pull over. In the years to follow, he moved to Hackensack, New Jersey, Toronto, Detroit, my mother's Canadian, I couldn't help that, Detroit, Lake Arrowhead, and then finally Los Angeles. But no matter what city he lived in, there were always scads of people outside of his coaches and choreographers, rink managers, custodians, parents of the group lesson kids. They would find me and they would take the time to share with me how impressed they were, not just with his skating, but with his character. He took the time to listen with interest in what they had to say, and he invested his attention. When my kids were little, I would read them poetry, and it was Carl Sandburg that taught us that time is the most valuable coin in your life. You and you alone will determine how you spend it. They learned that when they gave someone their full attention, they were investing in that person. And it was like adding quarters to a piggy bank. Maya Angelou, well, she encouraged us to be the rainbow in someone's cloud. And that if the day isn't over, it still could be the best day of your life. This philosophy helps us to see obstacles as opportunities in a costume. We just need to be patient enough for it to be revealed. Adam was on top of his game in 2014. You know he was a figure skater, right? Yeah, I think sometimes people forget that. His outstanding results that season made him a favorite for a spot on the Olympic team. During the U.S. Nationals, he fell short, and he did not make the team. We walked back from the arena to the apartment we had rented with very little conversation. It was his second attempt to make the Olympics, and at age 24, age was not on his side. He looked at me in disbelief and said, "Mom, I'm not going to the Olympics." And I told him, I just didn't think the universe was that cruel. I believed something bigger, something more meaningful would reveal itself. And I asked him, please be bigger and honor this loss with a purpose. And that's all that we said. The next season, he choreographed incredibly beautiful programs for some of his friends and other competitors. And I saw as he fell in love with skating again. He redeemed himself at Nationals that year with 2 brilliant performances and a second-place finish, although I think he was in first. He officially came out at the start of the following season, and it empowered him, culminating with winning U.S. Nationals in 2016 at the age of 26. And the next season, he was even more successful. 2 silver medals and a second trip to the Grand Prix final. It was 1 year from the next Olympic Games, and he was skating better than ever. A week before Nationals, he called me in the middle of the day, which I thought was kind of odd. And he started the conversation with, "Mom, listen, I'm on my way to the hospital. I'm okay. It's my foot. I think I broke it." And I replied to him just like all mothers would, "Oh, come on, you don't know that for sure. Do you have ice on it? Is it being elevated? I mean, it's 11 days to the short program. You are gonna be fine." And he said, "It's really bad." I sat in disbelief. And then he said, Mom, it's going to be okay. The universe isn't cruel. This isn't a loss. It's an opportunity. And I'm going to make this my story. I'm going to the Olympics. Transforming loss into love is such a powerful skill. Adam demonstrated mastery of that skill, and he continues to share that positive message of hope and possibility in the lives of so many people. Adam, I am so proud of you, beyond measure. I feel so blessed to be your mother. You make the room brighter. You invite people to feel higher. And you remind all of us, including me, to reflect on our own personal significance. You've made being yourself popular again. Please welcome Matthew Shepard Foundation, Making a Difference honoree, my son, Adam Rippon.
So nobody told me my mom was gonna speak for me today. And if there was ever a time I was 100% certain that I was my mother's son, when Judy was up here and she announced that my mom was gonna be speaking, my mom and I are sitting right next to each other over here. My mom stood up, looked at me, and she gave me this look that said, like, watch this. Blood does run thicker than water. So thanks, Mom. I love you. I'm Adam Rippon. I'm a figure skater. I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is a small town in Pennsylvania. Yeah, the Electric City. Where I live, it gets very cold every winter. So one of the things that we do in our town is go skating. And my mom wanted to take me to the rink so that I could skate and we would have fun. We did like a winter thing, like have fun. So my mom brought me skating, and my only memory and association of skating in my life so far was, have you guys gotten those like popcorn tins for Christmas? And you know, it's like cheese, the other one, caramel, you know. Yeah. And on the tin that we had, it was this beautiful vignette of a scene from like the 1800s. And one of the couples was this couple from the 1800s, and it was like a husband and wife, and she was in a muff, and they were both in long coats, and they were like in a position like this, and I was like, I'm gonna look like that. So my only goal when I first started skating was to look like a woman from the 1800s wearing a muff, skating with her husband. Doesn't everyone from Scranton, Pennsylvania just dream the same thing? Yes. And so the first time I got on the ice, I took 2 steps, fell over, and said, you know what, I'm done with this. Get me the fuck out of here. I want a Swiss Miss, a hot pretzel, and you know, we can try this again next year. So we did, and we tried it the next year, and it was something I fell in love with. I used to play baseball, not for a while. I played soccer, and I had this amazing theory that in soccer, you know, when you're like 10 years old and you play soccer, like the whole team just runs together back and forth. And I was like, well, why get tired? I'll just be on the other side of the field when everybody's like actually playing. I got in trouble and was like, I'm not a soccer player. In baseball, one time I asked my mom, what do people look like when they faint? So that when I was in the outfield, I could just faint and I wouldn't have to play baseball anymore. You know, my mom, when she was up here, she referred to incompetency as a baby crying. So you can imagine when I told my mom I wanted to faint, she said, I'm gonna kill you. And if you faint, you better be dead. So I didn't. I said, oh no, it's just one. Like, I just never saw anyone faint. I just wondered yeah, no, I'm so excited for baseball though. But skating was finally something that I felt like I was good at. And I know I'm so funny. And skating was something I was finally good at. It was something I didn't get picked last for at school. In school, I was always one of the shortest kids. I remember bragging to somebody that I was only 40 pounds, which, like, I can't even believe I was that thin. I needed a moment to think about it. And it was one of those things where, like, I could challenge myself. I felt powerful. I felt like, you know, I always loved playing sports, but I just wasn't very good at them. I also failed out of swimming class, which I didn't even know was a thing. I thought they, like, wanted you to, like, live through it, but they don't care. At Nichols Village, where I had my lessons, which is like a local hotel, I couldn't open my eyes underwater, so I failed fish level 3. The struggle was so long. So I found skating. It was something I loved. As soon as I started, I had this dream of going to the Olympic Games. And as I got older, I could see that the dream was closer and closer. I could see the light, and I held onto it, and I, for so long, held onto it and choked it to death. And I could just see my dreams, like, slipping through my fingers because I was putting so much pressure on myself. Like my mom told you, in 2010, I was an alternate to the Olympic team, but I was only 20, and I was like, whatever, I'll make the next one. In 2014, I felt like it was my best chance. As a figure skater, 24 is considered your prime age, and 28 would be considered like, it's not looking good for you. And I knew at 24 it would be my best chance to make an Olympic team. I failed to make the Olympic team. I didn't want to continue. But it was in my disappointments where I became the person I am today, who's confident, who can wear those disappointments proudly, and who not only embraces them, but I love to share them with other people because it's where I feel like I grew my wings. It's true. And I used to be embarrassed by them, but now nothing embarrasses me, unfortunately. But you know what? I don't have any regrets anymore, and I used to regret the times that I felt like I came up short. I have one regret. It's that I missed Dennis Shepard in drag yesterday. But besides that, I have none. I'll get you next year. You know, at the Olympics, I think sometimes I have felt that somebody like me isn't allowed to be a star, or somebody within our community isn't allowed to be embraced by everybody. And when I was at the Olympics, I feel like I had this amazing experience where I could feel people all across the country embracing me for who I was. And I owe that to my mom, because my mom always taught me that I shouldn't ever settle for anything. I should always strive to be the best. I should always strive for that next level. And I can't tell you how many times, even within the skating community, I've had an openly out man tell me to skate less gay. Or a woman judge with absolutely no style to give me comments on how to gain style. Yeah. You don't need to wear clogs to everything. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Shouldn't throw clogs. But you know what? There is that internalized like homophobia within sports that you won't be perceived as strong if you're gay. And it was just something I never believed, because in my coming out is when I felt my most powerful. It felt like I was actually able to use my voice, and I was able to speak to my younger self, who growing up felt so uncomfortable, who when missing the Olympic team 2 times, felt so embarrassed and felt like I wasn't good at anything else. I was able to use my voice and talk to that young person who didn't believe in themselves. I also realized that the Olympics was it's just a trip to another country where you just compete just like any other time. And that's why I was able to call my mom and tell her that everything was gonna be okay. I believed I would go to the Olympics, but I knew it wasn't everything. I knew the whole point of sports. The whole point of life is to grow, and the whole point of life is to help one another and to use our voice. And I think sometimes we think that if we're doing well, there's not room for someone else, but there's always room for one more. I was very lucky because a few weeks ago, I had the chance to actually go and visit Laramie, Wyoming. Yeah, woo! And it's a beautiful place. And I got to see firsthand the result of 20 years of work the Shepards have done. I visited the University of Wyoming, and I met with the LGBTQ Alliance there, and I met with an openly trans woman, a gay man, and a 15-year-old cute little lesbian girl. And in meeting these 3 young, talented, outspoken kids, I realized that even my experience of growing up gay in a small town was completely different. And it was because of the work that you guys have done. And even being there, I realized that my experience at the Olympics had a lot in part to the work that you guys have done as well. So I can't thank you guys enough, and I've gotten to spend a lot of time with the Shepards recently. We've gone on a few trips together. We're just gonna keep doing this. We're gonna travel around together. Dennis is gonna do drag. So good. But you guys are so lovely, and I'm so honored to consider you a part of my life now. So thank you so much. And the last thing I want to say, just like everybody else, we all have a voice, and I feel I'm so grateful for the platform I was given at the Olympics, and I really try to do everything I can to continue to use my voice. But what I'm telling you right now is that you don't need to go to the Olympics. You don't need to do anything incredible or spectacular. Just by being your authentic self every day, you will inspire someone to do the same. Being gay is not anything special. It's just something that happens. So you are much more than that. And when you're able to share your story, everybody can identify with some part of feeling like they don't belong. And when you're able to show of how you got there, and through your coming out, and through your successes, and through your downfalls, how you got to where you are, you help make the world a better place, even if just for one person. And when one person inspires another person, you're helping to change the world. And so I challenge you, one, to go out and fucking vote. And two, that no matter what, please continue to use your voice. Live out loud, and always remember that we are our best when we help and raise each other up. So thank you guys so much.